I know you were at Investor Day yesterday. Were you sold by what Lisa Su was saying about the compound annual growth rate?
So I certainly think AMD has the deals. I think that when Lisa's given us numbers, AMD hasn't missed those numbers. My only concern is AI has proven really difficult. So you look at MI250, that took longer to ramp than the deals that AMD had would suggest. You look at Nvidia with Blackwell. I mean, certainly they've grown revenues, but the transition wasn't as smooth as they wanted it to be. And so it's mostly just, what's the timing around execution? And that's hard to say until they get the product out, and they get the product out 9 months, a year from now.
I would be remiss, Matt, if I did not move you beyond Investor Day yesterday to this chorus of voices we're hearing. We heard it from Cramer. You heard it at the beginning of the half hour, that he's saying, look, the debt financing here is cause for concern. The Wall Street Journal has a front page story this morning calling it Frankenstein financing. How concerned should investors be about the ways debt is coming into play with these companies and the data centers and the investments?
Yeah, so I think just the concern is if you can't drive revenue and profit, it becomes a problem if you have debt, because then you can't pay for your debt. Now, having said that, what we've started to see over the last 3-4 months is that there's been a huge increase in inference. And inference is the use cases that drive real revenue for the cloud players and the neo clouds, and the model builders. Right, inference is the task that get things done. And so, I mean, it feels like right now we're also seeing monetization of AI, and that was the concern. If you'd asked me 12 months ago, is where's the revenue going to come from? All we're seeing is model building, and now it looks like we're seeing applications.
We're showing the banner right now that says Michael Burry accuses hyperscalers of artificially boosting earnings. I actually want to pull up what he posted on X, where he wrote that these hyperscalers are understating depreciation of AI chips, artificially boosting earnings, quote, one of the more common frauds of the modern era. He also promises that there will be more details coming on November 25th. He's had this back and forth with Palantir's Alex Karp, and Karp called him expletive crazy. Are you seeing any indication when you're looking at the financials of these companies that they're not factoring in the chip depreciation?
I think it's not that they're not factoring in the chip depreciation. The argument is that these chips are depreciating far faster than what we typically would see with normal server lives. So Nvidia is coming out with new products, on a 2 to 3 year cadence, and they would say that the new products are a whole lot more efficient than the old products, and so the idea would be that after 2 to 3 years, that's the life of the chip. Now, what I would argue is to date, those older chips. So we're with Blackwell right now, but Hoppers are still being run. They're still really good for inference. What's happening is the CSPs, they sell them on to smaller neo clouds, and if anything, over the last 6 to 9 months, the utilization rates of those smaller neo clouds that are buying these chips, they've gotten really, really high. So those chips still have life.
Meanwhile, AMD is trading at a multiple of 50 times forward earnings. Nvidia is more like 33 times. Can AMD compete with Nvidia?
I think at this point, it's can AMD be a legitimate second source? I think they have the best chance. And if they can grow at 35%, take double-digit share, which is what Lisa's put out as a goalpost. I mean, certainly they're the most likely, and if they hit those goals, they're going to grow really, really.
Stock splits are thrilling occasions that have the power to excite investors. Despite being primarily cosmetic, they can have a significant impact on index fund inclusion, staff remuneration, and option strategies. The stock price of Nvidia is currently at $200. Is it costly enough for Nvidia to declare a split of its stock? Or will investors have to wait for the announcement of another one of these thrilling events? Nvidia has seen 6 stock splits in total during its existence. The most recent ones were disclosed after the first quarter results report in 2021 and 2024. Nvidia's share price was split adjusted at 1,020 years at the time of the 10-for-1 split in 2024. Nvidia's stock split at 744 in 2021. Both of those costs are far higher than what Nvidia is already charging, but that isn't the only thing to take into account. Nvidia is a part of the price-weighted Dow Jones Industrial Average Index. This implies that the businesses need to maintain roughly the same price per share. Otherwise, they might completely skew the index. We don't know what Nvidia's stock split level will be with its participation in the Dow Jones Index because it was added to this index in November 2024, following its most recent stock split. Nvidia's share price is below that of the average stock in the index, nevertheless, as it is currently the 17th largest component in the 30 stock index. On November 19th, Nvidia is unlikely to declare a stock split. Nevertheless, there are numerous additional reasons to be enthusiastic about Nvidia's future, and as a result, it's worthwhile to think about purchasing today. The artificial intelligence race relies heavily on the computing power of Nvidia's graphics processing units. This year, AI hyperscalers are investing hundreds of billions of dollars in data center expansions, and in 2026, that amount is anticipated to increase significantly once more. One of the biggest winners of this AI competition is Nvidia, which is expected to profit greatly from this investment. The order log for its most advanced computing chips is one recent disclosure made by CEO Jensen Huang. For the next 5 quarters, they already have orders for these chips totaling about $300 billion, which suggests that Nvidia could see phenomenal growth in the upcoming year. Since the supply of Nvidia's GPUs may exceed the demand, only time will tell if these sales may be converted. Still, it's significant, particularly in light of Nvidia's $165 billion in revenue over the previous 12 months. A major participant in the AI race, Nvidia's performance will depend on how much the AI hyperscalers are prepared to invest. Nvidia is a great spot to invest since, at the moment, their checkbooks are open and their pocketbooks are fairly deep. Building out the AI compute capability required to operate in an AI-first society will take years, but in the long run, Nvidia will gain from this. Additionally, Nvidia might be permitted to resell a few of its products in China. Since the beginning of 2025, Nvidia has been unable to sell in the enormous computing market that this would open up. Regardless of whether a stock split is imminent or not, investors would be well advised to purchase Nvidia stock now because there are numerous tailwinds working in the company's favor. Another stock split is inevitable if Nvidia maintains its current level of performance, albeit it might take several years. Sales to data centers are bringing in a sizable profit for Nvidia. The company's dominant position in GPU innovation is reflected in its profitability. The business has a comprehensive product roadmap that runs through 2028. One of the finest stocks to benefit from the artificial intelligence AI explosion has been Nvidia. Since it crashed during the bear market of 2022, its stock has soared 1,200%. Its leading position in the chip sector, which involves selling data centers' powerful graphics processing units, GPUs, is reflected in that performance. But despite its run, the amount of profit Nvidia's business is making is what keeps me thinking about the investing possibility with this incredible growth stock. Nvidia made $86 billion in profit on $165 billion in revenue during the previous year. Based on its current valuation, the stock should see considerable gains in 2026 due to further expansion in its data center industry. According to the average analyst estimate, Nvidia's fiscal Q3 revenue is expected to increase by 56% annually. Nvidia shouldn't have any trouble selling every chip it produces for the foreseeable future because top cloud service providers are observing that demand for AI cloud services exceeds available computational capacity. According to early projections, the company's sales will increase by an additional 38% to $287 billion in the upcoming year. The management's long-term projection that data center spending will reach $3 trillion to $4 trillion by 2030 is in line with this. Nvidia's competitive advantage in the GPU industry is strengthened by this rising demand. When combined with other valuable solutions, Nvidia's data center GPUs sell for tens of thousands of dollars, enabling the company to set its prices to generate large profit margins. Up until 2028, Nvidia has a long-term roadmap for new CPUs. This is significant since Nvidia keeps close ties with its clients. It considers their input and requirements when designing semiconductors. Therefore, this far out in the product planning process should provide investors a decent idea of the data center business's long-term demand curve. The massive profitability of Nvidia has become a competitive advantage. As a result, Nvidia is increasing its influence in the tech industry and encouraging investment in new products. Recently, it was revealed that Nvidia would purchase $5 billion worth of Intel stock in exchange for Intel building custom x86 CPUs for Nvidia's AI infrastructure platforms. The fact that the stock is still cheap is an added incentive for me to keep considering it and keeping it in my portfolio. The stock is only trading at 29 times the consensus earnings projection for the following year. Another year of market-beating returns could be set up by this alluring value. As a long-standing admirer of Nvidia, CNBC host Jim Cramer frequently commends CEO Jensen Huang for his leadership and exhorts investors to hang on to the company's shares even during erratic times. In a recent episode, CNBC anchor John Fort presented data indicating that since Cramer's initial recommendation in June 2017, Nvidia's stock has increased 4,600%. Since then, Nvidia's stock has increased by about 4,600% according to Fort. Therefore, you would have $1 million from just a little over $20,000 that day. At one point, Cramer told Fort he believed Nvidia was merely a manufacturer of gaming chips. 12 years ago, he visited a plant of the German luxury automobile maker Audi, which altered his perspective. Cramer questioned which business provided the chips after visiting the facility and observing what he described as technological marvels. "It's Nvidia," he said. "That's a gaming chip company," I apologized. "Actually, no. You should be corrected here," he says. "This company is in the gaming industry and has amazing chips." Cramer added, and that got me thinking. According to Cramer, he met with Huang after deciding to dig deeper into Nvidia. Cramer claimed that after viewing the initiatives Huang was working on, he came to the conclusion that the CEO was someone very different with a 20-year vision. In response to Fort's query regarding market concerns regarding a potential AI bubble, Cramer counseled investors to have faith in the stock market and stick with their investments. According to Cramer, investors who are concerned about a bubble should refrain from making aggressive investments. Do you have faith in the business? You will lose all of your money if you don't believe in the company and only trust the stock's trajectory. According to Cramer, it's better to be blown out now than later. During the conversation, Cramer advised investors to know what they possess instead than just following trends. He thinks that staying the course during market turbulence is facilitated by having faith in the narrative surrounding a stock. You might think you own a hot nuclear stock if you don't know what you own, Cramer warned Fort. You might be shaken out if it cools for a few days. Your main concern should be how deeply you will be harmed as a result of your initial ignorance of what you purchased. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
All right, KG, let's get people started. So what do you think is going to set the tone today? I mean, I feel like, yes, we've made some progress. It seems like the needle is continuing to move forward on the government shutdown. But what sets the tone today?
Yeah, I mean, the government shutdown seems like it's really kind of priced in at the moment. There's a little bit of a kink when it comes to that bill that was passed by the Senate. You are hearing maybe some House members actually a little bit concerned about it, but it doesn't appear that they're probably going to make any adjustments. And most likely will pass the measure today. The market's actually expecting that to pass around 7 p.m. It sounds like at around 5 p.m. they're going to start the process on voting here, and then it'll go to President Trump. So once again, that's probably already priced in here. What you're kind of looking at for this market over the last couple of trading sessions, even even when we had down days, the expansion of participation in this market, you are seeing healthcare continuing to rise to the upside here. Healthcare, I believe, is up around 7 sessions or so. If you're looking at the XLV, which is showing some promise there, you're also seeing energy catching a little bit of a bid. Now, those are smaller sectors for the S&P 500 as a whole, but you are starting to see communication services also catching a bid, with Google kind of leading the way, hitting all-time highs. So I think the market continues to try to expand as we really try to figure out what's happening in the semiconductor space. Yesterday, semiconductors, if you're looking at the stocks, down about 2%. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce today. We'll talk about that story here in a second. And maybe we start seeing some bottom feeders coming into that semiconductor space just as a whole. But I think we're probably trying to set up for this holiday move, this holiday push to the upside here. You are seeing volatility move to the downside. We're sitting at around a 17 VIX, kind of that perfect environment for not only swing traders or long-term traders, but also intraday traders here. And then we could have some catalysts over the next couple of trading sessions, Diane, where we have some trade deals being announced as well. There's some chatter that Vietnam could be on the docket over the next couple of days. And maybe we see an India deal happening over the next week or so, with some comments coming from President Trump around H-1B visas here yesterday in an interview with Fox that kind of, let's say, turns around maybe their view from the White House regarding that program here. So I think there's still a lot of optimism, but maybe some of these trade deals that do hit the tape over the next week or so really carry the headlines, and we start to discount or maybe even look past the government shutdown situation.
Okay, all right, so let's get into it with AMD. So the shares are moving higher today. There was a knee-jerk reaction when you saw commentary coming off their analyst day yesterday, where you saw shares sell off a little bit, but now it feels like the market has had time to process. And listen, they said the total addressable market for this space is going to be huge. What are some of your takeaways here?
Yeah, it is going to be huge, but you're going to see them focus a little bit more on the CPU business, which is what they have been known for over the years. Obviously, the GPUs have been capturing a lot of the headlines over the last year and a half or so, but the CPU business, especially server side, actually has probably a little bit more of a tangible addressable market as consumers can actually get involved with this AI trade here. You are seeing them actually readjust their long-term financial targets. The revenue CAGR here, they're looking for 35% over the next 3 to 5 years. Non-GAAP operating margins greater than 35%, gross margins between 55% and 58%. And you are seeing, once again, the AI data center business, they're looking at 80% compounded annual growth rate here over that time frame. And they continue to talk about the server space, but once again, focusing more on the CPUs. Market did appreciate this. We are seeing the shares higher, up about 5% in today's session so far. And maybe this gives a little bit more optimism that this trade can actually hold on for now. Obviously, there has been a concern over the last 2 weeks regarding the circular nature of these deals, but Lisa Su actually really kind of talked about the fact that they're being very diligent when it comes to the deals that they're making with a lot of these companies, but they are also acknowledging the fact that OpenAI is a big player in this space, and they are going to address that market, but they are coming off as being a little bit more responsible here when it comes to these deals, ensuring that whatever that they are inking or signing is actually going to come to fruition, and protecting themselves in order to make sure that happens, but also not extending risk. I think that's another reason why you are seeing the shares a little bit higher here, kind of just talking about the due diligence of their deal making over the next couple of years.